The NTSB just dropped a bombshell. They aren't just saying the engine separated from the wing. They are saying the industry knew it could happen. 15 years ago, engineers flagged the exact stress failure that killed 14 people in Louisville. You already know the story of the crash. You know UPS flight 2976 roared down runway 17 right, cleared the airport fence, and clipped the roof of a logistics warehouse before slamming into a storage yard. That is old news. We aren't here to tell you how it crashed. We are here to tell you why a known defect was left flying until it was too late. Because the NTSB found something else. Grease. Traces of fresh grease were found inside the fractured bearing race. That means a human being likely looked at this part, lubricated this part, and signed it off, while it was 75% broken. This isn't just an accident. It is the story of the crack that everyone touched, but nobody saw. Let's reconstruct the final seconds. At 5:13 p.m., the MD-11 is heavy, loaded with fuel for Honolulu. As they accelerate past 100 knots, the pilots feel a vibration. In an older cargo plane, this isn't unusual. The MD-11 is a loud, physical machine. But this vibration is different. 37 seconds after setting takeoff thrust, the fire bell screams. The pilots are trained to react instantly. Engine fire, memory items, shut it down. But they are fighting a ghost. The engine isn't on fire. The engine isn't even there. Ground observers watch in horror as the number one engine and the massive pylon structure that holds it tears free. It doesn't just fall off. It separates under maximum power. The debris is instantly sucked into the path of the tail engine, causing it to surge and lose power. The loss of weight on the left wing, combined with the loss of thrust from two engines, creates a catastrophe. The plane lurches into the air, struggling for lift. The data shows they reached a maximum altitude of just 175 feet. They clear the perimeter fence. The left landing gear strikes the roof of a warehouse, but the aircraft keeps moving. It impacts a storage yard and a recycling facility beyond the building. 14 lives, 3 in the cockpit, 11 on the ground, are gone in seconds. When the NTSB arrives, the debris field stretches for half a mile. But the most important piece of evidence isn't in the wreckage. It's sitting on runway 17 right. This is the smoking gun. The engine didn't fail. The bolts holding the engine to the pylon didn't fail. The pylon itself separated from the wing. This massive metal arm, designed to hold 60,000 pounds of thrust through hurricanes and hard landings, simply let go. Here is where it gets scary. These attachment points are designed with a calculated weakness. They are meant to shear off in a violent crash to save the wing, but they should never, ever let go during a routine takeoff. For one to snap during a normal roll implies a catastrophic structural failure that should be impossible in modern aviation, unless history is repeating itself. To understand why this happened in 2025, we have to go back to 1979. Chicago. An American Airlines DC-10 rotates. The left engine pylon snaps. The engine flips over the wing, severing hydraulic lines. The plane rolls 90 degrees and crashes, killing 273 people. The MD-11 is the direct descendant of the DC-10. After 1979, the industry swore they fixed the engine separation issue. They redesigned the pylons. They changed the maintenance procedures. For 40 years, we thought the nightmare was dead. But the design philosophy, the way the heavy engine hangs off the wing, remained similar. The pylon is attached to the wing at specific points. The most critical is the aft mount. This is the hip joint of the assembly. It takes the brunt of the thrust loads. And just like in 1979, if this joint fails, the engine has nowhere to go but off. So let's look at the killer. It is called the spherical bearing. It lives inside the aft mount bulkhead. It allows the pylon to flex slightly, absorbing the vibrations of the engine so the wing spar doesn't have to. The bearing consists of a ball inside a race. The NTSB metallurgical report is damning. The race, the hardened steel outer shell, was found fractured, but it didn't snap all at once. The report confirms 75% of the fracture surface showed signs of fatigue. Fatigue means time. This crack started months ago. maybe years. Every takeoff, every landing, the crack grew a microscopic amount. By the time Flight 2976 lined up on the runway, that bearing was holding on by a thread. But wait, if it was cracked for months, why didn't anyone see it? The plane had just come out of maintenance in San Antonio, and this is where the grease comes in. The NTSB found grease inside the crack. That implies the crack was open and exposed when a mechanic applied lubrication. But because the spherical bearing is buried deep inside the mount, and because the ball covers the race, you can lubricate it without ever seeing the fracture. The very maintenance designed to save the part hid the failure. On November 8th, UPS didn't wait for the FAA. They grounded their fleet. On November 9th, the FAA issued the Emergency Airworthiness Directive. Every MD-11 grounded, then the DC-10s, then the tankers. But here is the detail that will fuel the lawsuits for the next decade. Reports indicate that as far back as 2011, Boeing had issued bulletins regarding the wear patterns on these specific mounts. They knew vibration could cause premature failure. They recommended inspections. But recommendations are not regulations. Did the industry normalize the deviance? Did we see wear so often that we stopped treating it as a crack? That is what the NTSB is trying to answer. The regulation that now mandates ultrasonic inspections for these bearings? That was written by the crew of Flight 2976. They were fighting a battle they couldn't win. At 175 feet, with the center engine failing and the lift destroyed, physics had already decided the outcome. The question isn't why the metal failed. Metal always fails eventually. The question is, why were we flying on it until it broke? This investigation is ongoing. Subscribe for the full NTSB final report breakdown.